Mansa Musa, the 14th century emperor of the Mali Empire, redefined wealth on an unimaginable scale. His legendary pilgrimage to Mecca showcased not only his vast riches, but also his commitment to knowledge and culture. He established universities and mosques, transforming Timbuktu into a center of learning. Today, his story inspires, revealing the profound impact of generosity and ambition on a burgeoning civilization. Mansa Musa remains an enduring symbol of opulence. Forget Elon Musk, forget Jeff Bezos. What if I told you the richest man in all of human history wasn't a tech mogul, but a West African king who lived over 700 years ago? His name was Mansa Musa, a man so wealthy his gold destabilized entire economies, and his story, largely erased from global textbooks. Mansa Musa, also known as Musa Warnar of Mali, ruled the Mali Empire from 1312 to 1337. At its height, the empire stretched across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, and parts of Niger and Nigeria. Under his reign, Mali became one of the largest and wealthiest empires in the world, not by conquest alone, but by commanding one of the most prized resources of the medieval world, gold. So how wealthy was Mansa Musa? Historians estimate his fortune to have been over 400 billion in today's value, more than any modern billionaire could dream of. But this wasn't just wealth on paper. Musa was known to literally flood markets with gold, collapsing its value for years. In fact, his 1324 pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj, remains the most extravagant journey in recorded history. Musa's journey to Mecca wasn't a solo trip. He traveled with a caravan of tens of thousands, including slaves draped in silk, heralds holding gold staffs, and more than 100 camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. In Cairo, Musa's generosity became a problem. He gave away so much gold to the poor, merchants, and rulers that it triggered a decade-long inflation crisis in Egypt. The value of gold plummeted. Musa had to borrow some back, at high interest, just to stabilize the economy. But Mansa Musa wasn't just rich. He was also a patron of knowledge, religion, and architecture. Upon his return, he built cities, mosques, schools, and libraries. The most famous, Timbuktu, transformed into a legendary center of learning that rivaled any European university at the time. Scholars came from all over the Islamic world to study in Timbuktu, a city that symbolized African intellectual power and cultural sophistication. Mansa Musa died around 13 or 37, but his legacy slowly faded, not because it wasn't monumental, but because the Western world didn't preserve African history with the same reverence. European chroniclers often ignored his story. Yet in 1375, a Spanish map, the Catalan Atlas, depicted a black king in West Africa, seated on a golden throne, holding a nugget of gold. That king was Musa. Mansa Musa's story forces us to reconsider what we think we know about wealth, power, and African history. The Mali Empire was not a footnote. It was a cornerstone of global civilization, economy, and learning. And its greatest king, a man whose footsteps reshaped economies and minds alike. This is not just the story of Mansa Musa. It is the story of a forgotten world, an empire of intellect, power, and unimaginable wealth, hidden in the sands of time. Like, share, and subscribe for more forgotten tales from Africa's powerful past. What other stories do you want unearthed next?